Welcome to the Lead Every Day show. Our mission is to see a world well led. And our strategy to get there? To empower leaders like you to lead every day. So let's get to work.
Years ago, I spent about a decade coaching athletes, and my favorite ones to work with were the ones that were teachable. Unfortunately, not every kid was coachable. It's a question that has been asked of us this week, and we're gonna dive into it today. Welcome to the Lead Every Day show. I'm Randy Gravitt.
And I'm Mark Miller.
And Mark, the question is, how do you determine if somebody is not coachable? I wish every athlete, worker, team member, leader were coachable, but we know that's not the case. But how do you know if somebody is or isn't? Is our listener's question, and we're going to discuss that today. So I hope you're ready to dive in here. It's a good question.
Well,
man, these questions
they're
have
all
been amazing.
Great.
They've been great
questions. Yeah. Back to the theme. I think we're going to have to ask the leader to begin by looking in the mirror. Not everyone is going to respond to the same approach, the same strategy, the same technique. My son had a coach years ago who actually called me randomly and asked for some advice. And I thought, well, do I go there, or do I not go there? And I said, well, I've noticed something. I said, I'm not sure all the boys are responding like you would want them to your coaching. And he acknowledged that. And I said, well, you're actually, it appears from the bleachers, it looks like you're using the same approach with every kid. He said, oh yeah, I'm consistent. I said, well, yeah, I got you're consistent, but maybe there's a kid that needs to be challenged where another kid needs to be encouraged.
Yeah.
Where another kid doesn't have the confidence because they don't actually understand. Maybe they need to be taught. And so I don't know if that fell on deaf ears or not, but I think for some of the leaders who think someone is not coachable, we might want to begin with, am I using the same approach with them that I use with everyone else?
Yeah.
Because one size never really fits all.
Well, it doesn't. And I think sometimes I'm saying it so they should be getting it. And really the goal is connection, not consistency. I want to be consistent, yes, but I want to be
at the principle base, but not at the methodology.
Connect. I mean,
yes,
exactly.
Yes.
I'm not connect. I'm saying it and they're not getting it. That's not what I want. And so I think here sometimes we think somebody's not coachable, and really we maybe, again, look yourself in the mirror. I'll follow up on something you said. I think it was yesterday you were talking about the leader checking their heart. I think sometimes we need to ask ourselves what's going on in the heart of the person that is not coachable, because if they are negative, I mean, there's some signs here, right? If they're negative, or if they don't show up with an attitude, they have low energy, or they're leaned out, I mean, just their body language is, I mean, there's lots of ways to determine if somebody isn't coachable, but maybe what are some of those signs that we're looking for? But have we ever trained people? I say train people. Have we ever even talked about body language is important here, and you show up on time, or you whatever you can make your list. But if we've not talked about it and we've not inspected it, what is the old, what gets inspected gets repeated, or what gets rewarded gets repeated? I think there's a lot of truth to that. And if we can really focus on connecting, maybe even at a heart level with that person, we might find they actually are teachable. It's just not, we're not connecting with them the way like you're talking about. I think that's a really great reminder.
Yeah. I mean, I'm always in favor of connecting, but that doesn't give you permission to use one method for everybody.
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to connect with you in the lunchroom, but I'm still going to treat you like everybody else on the court.
Right.
It's like, well, no, they need something different on the court.
Right.
Even though you might say you have a great
personal
connection.
When I'm talking about connecting, I'm not even talking about a social connection. I'm talking about, are you on the same wavelength? I mean,
right.
which I think is what you're talking about. It's like,
well, I'm actually talking about altering your methods.
Exactly. Some people are, need a, I mean, let's say you're trying to affirm somebody. Some person might want a handwritten note, and some people might want, public affirmation, and somebody just needs a conversation in the office. Like, hey, I've been noticing what you're doing. And they wouldn't want to be publicly recognized.
Right.
The best leaders are the ones who are fluent in the language of their people. I mean, they understand how to connect with them not connect socially, so to speak, but how to really connect with what pushes their button to really, helps them lean in and be coachable, teachable.
Yeah, it's
And-
being others centered.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's and I think it's an opportunity for us to grow. Anything else you'd say to the leader?
Yeah, I mean, there may be people who are not coachable, and at some point you'll have to make some hard decisions about that.
Yeah.
But I'd still look in the mirror first. How well do you understand their situation, their psyche? What are they bringing to the workplace?
Yeah.
You've talked repeatedly, I think appropriately, you've talked about empathy. Like, what's it like to live their life? And as much as you can understand that and then align your methods with that, increases the chances of success. But again, at some point they may not be coachable. And the question was, what do you do? Well, you have to replace somebody
You would have to. That's
who's not
right.
coachable.
Yeah, I would say let's don't give up on that person though, just because
No.
we don't. I mean, and I hear you saying the same thing. Just because they're not responding to our current method, let's change the method. And I do think we talked about the social part a minute ago, and really not that wasn't what I was saying. But I will say this: if you know somebody's story and again, I'll use my being fluent in their language of what's going on with them. What is their deal? I mean, I know people who are. Was it Bob Beal maybe that talked about that some people are goal setters and some people are, I'm not sure if it's
Problem
Bob,
solvers.
and-
Bob
or
Beal. Bob Beal.
problem solvers, exactly. And so if I'm giving goals to a person who's a problem solver and I'm wondering why they don't connect with the goals, give them a problem and watch what happens. And
Yeah.
But if I don't know that because I'm not paying attention or I don't have that language to think that way, maybe I can make some adjustments there. So I would say one of the things we can do is just get to know your people. Really, what makes them tick? What's the deal? And then if they have a bad heart, if they're not coachable, yes, they've got to be removed. So,
Always err on the side of grace, though.
for sure.
When you're dealing with people, give them a second chance, give them a third chance. I've shared this before. Truett Cathy, the founder of Chick-fil-A, we rarely had to make the case for termination. The Chick-fil-A operators for 40 years, we had about a 96% retention rate. And some of those left of their own. So very, very few times did you have to go to Truett, which is the way it used to work. You had to go to Truett if you wanted to make the case to terminate an operator. And he would say, have you done everything humanly possible to help this person be successful?
Yeah, that's
And if you know that's the standard, you're going to try 2 or 3 more times, because I've had to go in that room and say, yes, Truett, we've done everything humanly possible to make this person successful.
Yeah, I love that, Mark. I will just say when I build a team, like back in the day with athletes, you build a team, you selected those players. You allowed them to be on your team. You hired these people in your department, whatever. Sometimes it's not that they're not coach. I'm assuming you're not putting a person that you would believe is not coachable on your team. So sometimes it's actually the coach. It goes back to what you're talking about. So I would encourage us all to look ourselves in the mirror and say, what do I need to do to be the coach that the people on my team want to play for, the people in my business want to work for, they really want to be leaned in. And if they're not, obviously, at some point, you maybe have to make some cuts. I got that. But I think if we won't give up on people, we'll really do what we need to do to be the leaders we can. I think your people might be a lot more coachable than you think they are. I hope you'll join us tomorrow as we continue our questions. Remember, the best leaders lead every day.